Hello everyone, I am Pleiadian Star Healer and welcome to this week's Pleiadian Starcast. So I'm sorry the video is a little late. I really needed a break. Well, more like to sleep in because I haven't been sleeping that well. I've been waking up extra early so I can do readings and things like that. And just like yoga, self-care, So I feel like I needed to relax and connect a little because I wasn't feeling it at all, doing it before. So, but now I feel much better. So we're gonna get started. I asked my older daughter like what she felt the collective needed to know, and she brought up about judgment. So this week's Starcast collective reading is going to be about how we can handle judgment, how we can go about it, and the root cause, and well, you'll see as we go along with it. Okay, so I'm going to be using the everyday enchantment. I'm going to be going with the images and see when it comes to judgment. So let's see. So the collective reading we're going to do about how we can handle judgment, where it's coming from, and how we can heal it, etc., etc. Which I feel like it's a great topic. When she told me judgment, I was like, oh wow, yes. So the main energy of that, we have the Hangman. So from here, I see like overextending ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps doing things for show, because if you see like everyone's reaction, I feel like for me it's just like this thing of what is this person doing, so I feel like that's where the judgment is. Perhaps there's things that we're doing, like taking certain risk, and people are just like, what are you doing, and so I feel like there is just this energy of wanting to do something that perhaps makes you feel good, that brings out the life in you. And I feel like there are energies where people just don't understand it, and that's where the judgment is coming from. I feel like there's things that perhaps there's just like a change you're wanting to make, but it may seem radical to others, and so they're just like questioning, because if you look, people are looking at each other in the back and they're like, what the hell is this person doing? Everyone is just like, what? Why? Like, why is this person doing that thing? So there's definitely judgment about things that you're doing that people perhaps don't understand, and they're just like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? So I feel like there's something you want to do or you're doing, and people are just not in accordance with you, and you may feel like you're being judged really harshly. You feel like perhaps there's like misunderstanding, but you feel good about it. Because if you look at this person here, they're like full of joy. They're like happy in what they're doing, So even if it seems crazy and risky to others, you're just like, I'm okay with that, and you do know that it requires a certain type of sacrifice, because when it comes to doing things that we enjoy, and especially when there's criticism around it, it does take sacrifice in leaving perhaps those people behind, or certain changes that are going to be happening. You get what I'm saying? So when you are doing something that's authentic to yourself, there will come certain, I would say repercussions, but sometimes it just causes people to feel uncomfortable. They just don't quite understand it because it's not them, so it does come with sacrifice when you're trying to follow what makes you happy in your heart. Okay, so like, what's the opposing energy to these cards? Are huge. Look at that, I can't even grab them. So what is the opposing energy to this card of judgment? What is the opposing energy? Okay, and we have the Nine of Blades. Okay, so look at that. There's like I mean, from the energy, you can see like there's like sadness, there's just like feelings of failure, perhaps doing things like addictive behavior, perhaps like taking pills, not sleeping right, perhaps taking sleeping pills, just to be able to get through the emotions. So I feel like that the criticism, the judgment that's happening is causing some feelings of uncertainty or like a feelings of failure. So people's judgment on you could make you, since they don't really understand what you're doing, what you're going through, their over criticism can make you feel like a failure, and just depression, perhaps even thoughts of like self-harm. The reason why I say that, because this stood out to me here, because to me this was like a razor blade. So perhaps there's like, for some of you, these thoughts of being judged, there might be issues like thoughts of self-harm, perhaps like drug abuse, wanting to take drugs, perhaps sleeping too much, or perhaps not sleeping at all, like insomnia, and just feeling like just overwhelmed energy of despair, and not feeling good. I also feel like there may be disappointments and perhaps people you thought they were loyal, or like supportive of you, because with the dog. And I mean, since I was little, my grandmother used to say that when you dreamed of dogs, dogs meant loyal, someone loyal. So I feel like perhaps there's just this pain of people who you thought supported you in reality didn't, so there's just this opposing of what you really want to be, who you want to be, the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that costs you, that kind of judgment that's happening right now, is causing these feelings of despair and disappointment and just hurt, and feelings of failure. Okay, but like I said before, what we want to do, what's most in alignment with ourselves, comes with sacrifice. Okay, so let's see what the root cause. What is the root cause of these two energies here? Holy crap, they're big. But I love them. I've been wanting them for so long. What is the root cause? And we have, okay, Empress. So I feel like this has to do about what's in alignment with yourself, like the love of self, just having like that connection with yourself. Perhaps this could be about relationship too. Like perhaps there's relationships that you want to be with someone, but perhaps there's like over criticism about it, and people are just like, no. Perhaps there's relationships that your family or friends, or they don't agree with, but you just want to like follow your heart, and what I was talking about before, perhaps with your own self, the root cause is just wanting to follow your heart and follow what you feel means to you, and just wanting to connect with yourself and others on a very deep level. And perhaps there's just people around you that they just don't understand, and we just have to sometimes be okay with that. Okay, so let's see, energy from the past that's affecting you presently when it comes to judgment. Okay, so energy from the past affecting the collective presently. And we have, okay, we have the Queen. We have the what? Oh, the King of Blades. Okay, so this I feel like has to do about the truth, following what's true to you. I feel like this also has to do about being careful that you're not the judge, jury, and executioner, because we have like the judges here, and we have like the jury, and I mean, well, that's sorry for me, the executioner, when you're signing off on things, so I feel like this has to do about just following the truth, and that sometimes the truth is the truth, whether we want to hear it, whether others want to hear it or not. And sometimes the truth can be really hard for yourself and others. So I feel like for here, this is just about people having to come to terms with the truth. and just allowing people to do what suits them. Okay, and usually that's where it's hard, you know, because when people are judging, because everybody judges because of what they feel is best for the opposite person, you know. But sometimes, even if we know what's best, sometimes we just have to let people do what they want to do, and just let them learn the truth on their own, you know. That we can't always be there. We just have to let people do what they do and let them follow what they feel is best, and let them learn whatever it is that they need to learn. Okay, so I do feel like this has to do about you know, just following the truth, and also being careful about being that way towards yourself, in the sense of being like the judge, jury, and executioner, and just following, like with the Empress, following your heart and just wanting to grow, you know. I feel like that's a person just wants to grow out of the situation that they're in, and just follow what they feel is in most alignment with themselves. Okay, so let's see the 2 paths to healing. So what are the 2 paths to healing? Let's see the first path, right? So let's see, what is the first path to healing? Oh my goodness, this card is too big. So what is the first path of healing? We have Judgment. Okay, so the first path of healing is being able to leave behind things that are no longer in alignment with you, things that are not good for you. Because if you see, you know, you have like people drinking and stuff, and there's like new opportunities coming through the door, you know, where we have the angel like blowing in the house, you know, and she's just looking back like, peace out, you know, I'm leaving, you know. So the first path of healing is just being able to walk away from things that no longer serve you, and just go on to finding, you know, greener pastures. Because if you see, there's a green, then we have like, I think that's a dog too. Oh no, oops, it's a rabbit. But we know we're talking about like abundance and things like that, like good things, you know. So just leaving behind, you know, toxicity, you know, old behavior patterns, perhaps, especially if it comes to like drug and alcohol, because here we also have like the pills, you know. So I feel like there's also about self-sabotaging behavior, you know, leaving those things behind, and like with the Empress, you know, following your heart, you know, and just doing things that are in for self-love, and being able to accept yourself in ways that perhaps other people can't, because they can't understand you, and just following your truth. Okay, so what is the second? And I feel like this also has to do like with new beginnings. As you step into your path of healing, just following your heart, there will be new beginnings for yourself. Okay, so let's see. What is another path? The other path that you can take towards the healing. And we have 9 of Cups. So we have, you know, about celebrating life, just enjoying life, but just being careful of, like, it's not over, you know, like having like that balance, but also knowing when to enjoy the pleasures of life, and really learning to live, and really asking yourself, like, are you living? Are you fulfilling the things that you hold in your heart? And perhaps this is about also like traveling, you know, by leaving these kind of situations behind, and that you can find abundance and even connections, you know, fulfilling relationships and friends and loyal friends and stuff like that somewhere else, you know, somewhere apart from what you currently are doing right now. Okay, so let's see what the collective will have to do when it comes to judgment, like what they need to work on. And we have, okay, we have the 7 of Wands. So I feel like, well, judging by the picture here, we have fighting for what we want, you know, fighting, like just fighting, like we were talking about, what's in alignment with ourselves, following our truth, and not feeling guilty about it, because usually 7 of Wands usually is about like hiding something or guilt, you know. So we're gonna apply that there, you know, perhaps not feeling guilty about who you want to be, what you want to be, what you want out of life, you know, following your heart and stuff, and just going for it, you know, not conforming to what people think you should do, the people around you think you should do, and just going for it, you know. This may take having to be rebellious in that sense, you know, when it comes to following our heart, and there's opposing energy to that where people just don't understand it. It does take a certain type of rebellion, you know, to be like, I'm gonna still do, you know, what I want to do, you know, because you have like people protesting here, you know, against the police, against authority. So perhaps there's authority figures in your life, they're just like, no, you know, like, I don't want you to do that, you know, and you want to follow what's deeply connected with you, what you feel is in most alignment, and it may require for you to be like, I'm not doing what you say, I'm going to do what I want, and I'm going to go for it, okay? So let's see how the universe is supporting this journey of yours. So how is the journey? How is the universe supporting the journey? How is the universe supporting the journey? Okay, we have King of Wands. So we have just about just being able to support yourself. I feel like this also has to do with just finding the right support, and just being able to cheer yourself on. The universe wants to cheer you on, and you following. And perhaps this may take you being able to follow through with uncertainty, you know, even if you don't see what's ahead, but to take the risk and just follow through. Because we have this man here, I would say he perhaps is blind, and he has like the cane and, you know, the walking stick thing, and, you know, and people are behind there like cheering him on, like, oh yeah, you can do it, you know. So even if you don't know what the future holds, to still just keep going, you know, go for it. Eventually you will see, you know, where this path of you wanting to follow that's in most alignment with you, where it's going to lead you towards, where you're going to wind up being. Okay, so I feel like also this may do with having the right support around you, perhaps people who do support you and people who encourage you to do better things with your life, and, you know, people who have the same support in your dreams and stuff. Okay, so let's see, what are the hopes here? What are the hopes? And we have, are they stuck together? Okay, well, the hopes, the Tower. So I feel like this has to do with that things are not as bad as we think they are. It may feel like that, especially when we want something that's in most in alignment with ourselves, and we start to see that the people we thought supported us don't. So it can definitely feel like a Tower moment where everything is just like burning to the ground, and things are just like you're losing friendships and things, or partners and stuff, people you love. So it can feel like something terrible. But I feel like with the hope, and this in the hope position is like saying that things are not as bad as they look, and they may, and I feel like this is also a reminder that the Tower moment is also temporary. It's not something that's going to stick around forever. You know, there will be some relief, okay, that things may look terrible right now, but you will see as you keep following your heart that it's not as bad as you think they are. Okay, so just have that hope that the Tower moment in your life right now will come to an end. So what are the fears? Okay, and we have the Page of Blades here, and we have, you know, I feel like this has to do about maintaining like that innocence, you know, and you feel like not knowing where you're going on an intellectual level. You know, perhaps there's feel like, am I doing the right thing? You know, like, do I even know what I'm doing? You know, so I do feel like there's, perhaps you feel like perhaps you're being a little too naive. You know, there's worries of not really knowing concretely like what you're doing and how you're going about it. So there are fears of, like, again, like I was saying before, with the uncertainty, you know, not really not really sure about where you're going. And perhaps I feel like this perhaps has to do with, like, perhaps like in the future you're afraid of not feeling dumb, like not knowing enough, not having like that knowledge, or perhaps even coming to truths with certain things. You're afraid of perhaps wonder, like, what if they're right? You know, like, what if I'm losing all these people and then they turn out to be 100% correct? You know what I'm saying? So there is just that fear of, like, that knowledge of coming to knowledge of, what if they were right? You know, what if I am doing something wrong? You know, so there that fears of not knowing better. But let's see. But what is the what can we expect if we follow our hearts? And we have, okay, we have the Four of Cups. But before I do that, let me see something here. So I feel like this has to definitely be, okay, like being careful with not being able to see the bigger picture of things, because, and also I feel like it has to do about being careful about your thoughts. And I'm going to show you why. Hold on. And we have like the High Priestess. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to show you why I say about being careful. I feel like this was like extra information about being careful with your thoughts. Because you see this person here, he's so focused on the spilled coffee, just things not working out, that he don't realize that there's a helping hand there. You know, he's too absorbed into his own mood of loss and just being discontent, that they don't realize that there's opportunity there. Like, they have an opportunity to not be thirsty. And even there, you know, there's a cup here that's not spilled, but he's so focused on melancholy, being absorbed in his own depression, that he don't realize that there are things to drink there and that someone is actually offering a helping hand. So I feel like this definitely has to do with the Tower moment of realizing that things are only temporary and making sure that you're not getting sucked into these negative thought patterns. And, you know, and we had like here with the opposing energy here, where a person may feel like disappointed, feeling dissatisfied, just an overall feeling of unhappiness, you know, and just making sure that you do see the opportunity that that all this is just temporary right now, you know, that everything's just temporary, that nothing is permanent, you know, change is constant, you know. So then we have like the High Priestess. So I feel like when I look at this card, I feel like here it shows a person feeling like being like an outcast, you know, like not really being able to fit in. So I feel like you will feel like you're being outcasted, you're not feeling like you are settling in. But we also do know that the High Priestess is about following, you know, our intuition. It's about following our heart and those nudges that we get. And also, like, we have the reflection of the moon, the full moon. So we do know there's completion there. So the outcome is just being, it may seem like you're being outcasted. You may much endure rejection, you know, people not understanding you on the level that you want them to. But we all are here to follow our heart, and we're all here to follow what makes us happy and following our intuition to the best of our ability, you know. So this is just saying, like, to follow that, but to also be careful that you're not getting too absorbed into the negativity, and that you're not too absorbed in being discontent, you know, being dissatisfied with the way things are going, and to see that there are opportunities. You just have to pick your head up, you know, like this gentleman here, where he has his head down, that he doesn't even see that someone is offering him a glass, you know, a bottle of water. Okay, so it's, you know, I feel like the energy here is trying to tell, like, just to be careful that you don't get too absorbed into the negative. That, you know, even if things feel like they're crashing down right now and they're not the way you would want them to be, but to know that all of that is just temporary, you know, and just follow through. Like, follow through what calls to you, follow through with your heart, and follow through with your own intuition, because we will always know what is best for us. And if things don't work out, it's okay. They're all lessons. We all need to let others live and let live. Let people learn what they need to learn. Even if we don't agree, even if we feel like we know better, we need to let people learn in the best way that they know how to learn. And usually, sometimes the universe has to teach us certain lessons that it's necessary for the future, you know, for our own personal growth, you know. So just, and people who are judging you and you feel like it's wrong and you're not happy, just let them. Follow what you feel is best for you. Follow your intuition. Go for it. You have to, you know, see what life has to offer you and try to live your life to its fullest potential. Okay, so that is the end of this week's Starcast of Judgment. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was insightful, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.